Good morning and thanks for being here and welcome to Eating for a Healthy Life. As you know, Thanksgiving is literally 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks actually away, and it's almost here. So I decided to go ahead and do that whole episode about how can you have a stress-free Thanksgiving. You can entertain, you can enjoy your holiday. So what I'm doing today is 4 different things in less than an hour. It took me about 2.5 hours of prep, but I wasn't really very delegated to the prep. I was answering phones, I was talking. So it will take you about 2.5 hours of prepping. So let's go ahead and start. And if you like that, please subscribe. So let's go ahead. First thing we're going to do, I would like to start with the cornbread. The cornbread takes a little longer in the oven, so I decided let's go ahead and start with it. So by the time we're finished with the episode, you will be able to see how it looks. So we're doing cornbread, and again, you don't need to start things from scratch. I prepped everything today from scratch. I literally peeled, diced, cut everything today. You don't need to do that. Butternut squash is very easy to buy it peeled and cut. So anything can make your life easier or less stressful. Just go ahead. The other thing with dessert, I usually will cook the meal and I will have the dessert coming from my store. I will prep alcohol like wine, and I will ask the rest if you would like something different to go ahead and bring it with you. So just to prep, like, I prepped last Saturday apple cider with no alcohol. It has the cinnamon, the cloves, and if somebody wants to have rum with it, you can put it next to it if someone doesn't want alcohol or the kids want to share it. So make it as simple and easy. But my advice, prep everything the day before. Everything. Don't prep anything the day off, because you wake up in the morning and all you do, put things together quickly, and it gives you the rest of the day to enjoy. So let's go ahead. This is the cornmeal I use, okay? And that's what I love, because it does have, even though it says ground, it still have that stony feel to it, and I love how it feels after it's cooked. So this here is the cornmeal. This is a flour, gluten-free flour, and the recipe will be available on our website. I have baking powder, baking soda, salt. As you know, anything that you're going to use for sweet, you use salt. I have my sugar, and I am going to literally just mix it. The most it takes with that recipe is prepping put together the ingredient. This here is a fresh corn that I take the frozen. Most of the time I use the frozen corn that I have in my freezer. So this is a 3/4 of corn that I cook it for about maybe 10 minutes, and I will just break it down. If you have your immersion blender, you can do it. You can do it with a food processor. So I like that to be a little broken so you're not eating a whole corn. So I am going to mix this with my liquid. And this here is 2 cups of coconut milk, and I put 6 tablespoons of oil. You can use coconut oil, you can use olive oil. This is a cornbread. It's not a corn cake, so you can do whatever you feel like. This here is my flax eggs, and this is replace, of course, your eggs. In baking. Okay, here we go. All I'm doing now, I am mixing my liquid with my flours. So what you do is you put all the dry ingredients together with each other, and you put all the wet ingredients with each other, because otherwise it will be a big lump of things that you try to avoid. It didn't mean that I sometimes do everything together, but just I'm trying to show it to you the right way. Okay, look how simple and easy. And it really, all it takes is you put the ingredients together. This is here one of my favorite pans to use. You take this out, so you don't have to worry about you flip it, or you just take it out, and this here, it gives you an even, all the pieces will be even. If you don't mind, you don't need that. If, you know, I like the pieces to be all, when I serve it, to look all the same, but you don't have to. So what I'm doing now, I'm putting everything here. And you can make your cornbread a day ahead. It's actually will be much better, because you also can allow this to sit until you hydrate your flour. So this here, make it a day ahead, take it, make sure it's out of your way, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven, 375, for maybe 30 minutes. Okay, and I am going to go ahead and put my timer. Make sure everything you do have a timer, especially when you are running a whole kitchen. Make sure also, because Thanksgiving, a lot of people, family come and talk to you in the kitchen, and there is so much commotion going on. Make sure you have a timer, because once the timer goes off, you know, something in the oven. We have so many times we put things in the oven and we forgot it, and it gets burned. So to make it stress-free, just set your timer for everything. So in that case, you are ahead of the game. Okay, let's go ahead. The second thing, which is going to take a little bit of time, is we're making a shepherd pie. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and start on the shepherd pie with you right now, so we can also put it in the oven, and it will cook by the time we finish our two other things. We're making butternut squash soup, which is the easiest thing. Again, have everything prepped, and I will show you how I prepped everything ahead of time. All the ingredients are here, and again, just make everything, cut everything, and make it the day before. Or shepherd's pie is one of these dishes that if you make it the day before, it will be just as good. And what you can do, just wrap it, put it in the fridge, and cook it in the oven the day off, okay? So it's very, very simple and quick. We're going to put some olive oil here. I will cook the mushroom ahead of time, because as you know, if you cook the mushroom with the onion, it doesn't cook. So what I like to do is cook the mushroom on high to make sure that it doesn't release its liquid or its, you don't want a moisture, and do not add any salt until the end, because the minute you get the salt, you put the salt on the mushroom, it will immediately extract the moisture out of it. We don't want any moisture, we just want to cook it, and we will put it. And while we are cooking this, I just want to tell you, I cooked the potatoes ahead of time, and all I'm going to do with the potato, you peel it, you cut it, and you put some water, you salt it nicely, because potatoes is best when you salt the water. It really needs good salting. So we're doing this, and what I'm going to do, usually they add butter. I'm not using butter, I'm using some olive oil with a little bit of garlic and a tiny bit of thyme, and have it on top. These are one of the dishes that you will love to eat. And what's good about it is it's a crowd pleaser. So do you see the mushroom is starting? So we're going to wait, and cut it big, cut it small, whatever you would like. I like to have a bit of a bite with it, and I didn't make a lot. This is enough for 3-4 people, and I cooked it enough for my husband and I. You can just double the recipe. And while this is cooking, let's go ahead and we'll do time saving, and let's go ahead and cook the butternut squash soup. I cut the butternut squash, I peeled it, cut it. I am going to put it here, put some olive oil, that's pretty much it. And all you have to do, just keep stirring so it doesn't burn. And we are going to saute it until you see a little browning. Once we have browning, we will add the water, cover it with the water, put salt, you put it in your blender, it's done. My mushroom is almost done, and I want to show you. Do you see it absorbed all the oil? It has no oil and it has no water. And that's exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. Now I can actually sprinkle it with a little salt, and salt as you go. Keep salting as you go. Don't wait until the end to salt, because the food will be with salt, not nicely seasoned. We'll keep just tossing and turning, so the onion and the butternut squash will have a nice browning on it. This is done. Now I am adding a little bit more oil, putting the onion, carrots and celery, my mirepoix. I did not add the garlic yet. I am just going to keep stirring this until I feel it got sauteed enough. I am going to go ahead and season a little, maybe a half a teaspoon of salt, pepper, a dash of pepper, here, do you see this here? It started to sweat. This is when it becomes translucent. Your onion becomes translucent, so things moves much faster at that point. Rosemary. So what I'm going to do now, add a little bit more, tiny bit more olive oil for the garlic. And once I cook the garlic, I am adding quickly. Just make sure your garlic doesn't burn. 2-3 seconds, and you move it with everything. You add your tomato paste and back the mushrooms. And now it's time to put the wine. And if you don't want to add wine, you don't have to. You can add some red wine vinegar, or you can take it out. I like the taste of the wine. It really gives it a lot more depth and a lot more umami. And you have to wait until the wine completely evaporates. You don't want the taste of the alcohol in your mouth. So while this is evaporating, I covered the butternut squash with water, and I'm going to put salt, and I will let it cook. And that's pretty much is your soup. Once you put it in the blender, it's done. And this here, this is your lentils. I need it. I put about 1/4 teaspoon. And now I am adding the peas. Mix everything together. Look how gorgeous it looks. I'm putting the broth, and this is very much it. I am going to let it cook until the lentils are very cooked. I just want to let you know, these lentils, I cooked them for about 4 minutes after they boiled with the water, and I put a bay leaf with it. I really didn't feel I want to cook it from scratch, because I felt like the other ingredients will be way overcooked while the lentils will be okay. So what I'm going to do right now, I am going to mash the potatoes again. I peeled it, cut them into small pieces so they cook fast. I kept some of the water somewhere here in case if I need to make it a little looser, but I'm going to use olive oil, garlic, and thyme to have it on top and cook it with. I'm going to go ahead and mash my potatoes. I just checked my cornbread, and it has another maybe minute or two. I just turned it, and here it's much easier to really mash your potatoes when it's hot than to mash it when it's cold. So make sure as soon as it comes off the stove top, I'll cook it. Usually we try to rice our mashed potatoes, but these, it doesn't matter if it's a little dense, because we're going to have a very thin layer. So all I need to do is just mash it, make it a little looser. I'm adding my olive oil, a little garlic to complement the taste. And these here are the water that I cooked the potatoes in it. And I'm just using, I guess we have a shortage, huh? Oh, well, I can take this and put it down here. I think we got a power shortage. Technology. I am going to go ahead, just warm up a little olive oil with my garlic. And again, garlic is as much or as little as you like. And I am putting my thyme here. And I'm really doing it more to flavor my potatoes. And I'm going to add right now some salt. And again, that's another layer of flavor. And make sure you don't burn your oil. And what I'm doing now is just I'm taking this out. It did already the job. I'm putting my, this is instead of the butter that you add on your mashed potatoes. Since I put already oil, salt with the mashed potatoes while it was cooking, I just want to make sure that it doesn't need salt is perfect. And that's it. I am going to go ahead. I am going to fish out my thyme. You see, they did the job. And right now, I forgot to add the flowers to make it thicker. So to show you, anything can happen in the kitchen. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to brown the flour, a little bit of oil, and I am going to put maybe a tablespoon of flour here. I will cook it because you always have to cook your flour so it doesn't taste raw. I should have done that with as soon as I put the tomato paste. I forgot. It shows you anything can happen in the kitchen, but it doesn't matter. You can just go ahead, rectify it, and nobody will know. And you see what I'm doing right now? I'm just browning my flour, because what happened is the flour is going to give the sauce a thicker texture. Otherwise, when I was pouring it, I'm like, wait a minute, something is not adding up. And that's, and it shows you very much when you're cooking, things can happen, but just go back and do it. I just added some of the sauce and the flour to the flour. So I am thickening now. I'm going to add the whole thing here, and it will immediately thicken, especially we're putting this in the oven. You see, the sauce got thicker. You put your potatoes in lumps like that. And you can do with your offset knife or a spatula. You just go ahead. And again, make it the day before and just wrap it and keep it in your fridge, and wake up in the morning or whenever you're ready, put it in the oven. And one thing is completely out of the way, make it a point that you enjoy it. You know, you have your drink, you enjoy your family, you enjoy your friend, you get dressed, you have a great time, and instead of slaving in front of the oven and the stove and you feel stressed, if you have everything ahead of time, all you have to do, just really wake up in the morning, reheat your food. Here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on 375 for about 25 to 30 minutes. My butternut squash is done, and what I'm going to try now is to see, it does need some salt. And all I have to do now, you can leave it this way it's cooked. You can warm it up. You see here, it's cooked. You can blend it the day of Thanksgiving, or you can blend it the day before. That's entirely up to you. So I want to show you something before. This will give you a great use, just about, covering the butternut squash. If you want it thicker, put less of the water. If you want it thinner, use more. So that is entirely up to you. And I'm going to put it here. Be very careful and put it on a very low, because make sure you leave this open so the steam escapes. This is done. Let me clean up, and we'll go to our fourth dish, which we're making a roasted vegetable that it has rosemary, it has sage, it has thyme, and I am making it with balsamic vinegar. You can use, if you have an access to pomegranate molasses, do pomegranate molasses. It will be just unbelievably delicious. So let me clean up, and I will be right with you. I was at the farmer's market, and I found purple, yellow, white cauliflower. So I brought these with sweet potatoes. I have sage here, I have red onion, and I have Brussels sprouts, okay? So you can use whatever you would like. You can do, instead of cauliflower, you can make broccoli, and instead of the butternut, sweet potato, you can do butternut squash. But I decided if I'm doing the butternut squash as soup, I might as well use just the sweet potatoes, or you can just do it all carrots, buy different color carrots, and do it. And I decided, I usually love around Thanksgiving to cook with pomegranate molasses, but I know it's not convenient for everyone, so I switched it to a very glazy balsamic vinegar. It's the thick balsamic vinegar. So I am going to go ahead, put balsamic vinegar, olive oil, and I don't want it too much to be greasy, but I want enough that it looks actually pretty, because I am going to keep it crunchy. And that was, I put some salt, going to use some more. And what I did here, I wrapped my tray with here aluminum foil, and I don't like our food to touch the aluminum foil, so what I did is I put my parchment paper on top, and here I'm going to use a little bit more salt. This is pretty much is. In here I have sage. I love the taste of sage, but I am going to put some thyme, and some rosemary. It gives it the taste of the season, okay? And it makes it such a pleasant dish from a blah. And I cut the rosemary, chopped it small, and here we go. Look how gorgeous and colorful. And as I said, I have the sage, and I didn't want to cut the sage because sage is very strong. I like to have the smell, and more than that, somebody will bite on it. So I'm going to take it out of there after I cook it. Let me see. You see? Here are the sage, and you feel it's the seasoned cooking, and that's it. I'm going to have it on a preheated oven for 100 degrees, and I'm going to set up everything and show you in less than 1 hour. We had 4 dishes. The fact I prepped everything ahead of time made our life much, much easier, and I hope it makes also yours much easier. Hi, and welcome back. Here we are. In 1 hour, we accomplished to cook 4 major dishes for Thanksgiving. I have the butternut squash soup, I have the shepherd pie, I have the roasted vegetables with balsamic vinegar, and the cornbread. Look, all of them, just let me show you here how beautiful and vibrant everything is. I hope this will help you to have a stress-free Thanksgiving and happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it with your families and your friends. And the family friends are what really matter, to be with them, and again, enjoy it. Please subscribe. Again, happy and healthy Thanksgiving.